weather is absolutely miserable today. So this is my 2005 BMW, and it's got a 6-speed manual transmission. As you can see right there, we got a third pedal, okay? And before we got this car, we had a Porsche 718 Cayman GTS. And I made a video explaining how I choose to drive this 9 out of 10 times over the Porsche. And the biggest reason for that was because of the manual transmission, right? I preferred shifting gears myself instead of driving a Porsche with fucking paddle shifters. So I'm not a manual transmission hater, and I'm not trying to rage bait any of you guys, okay? But the fact that I have to be that careful and explain myself before talking shit about this transmission is exactly why this shit is overrated. Oh yeah. Here's the problem I have with the manual transmission, okay? It's not necessarily the transmission itself. It's more the people that drive manual transmission cars, right? A lot of people in their 20s who drive manual transmission cars, they end up making their transmission of choice their entire personality, right? Like if you drive a manual transmission, you're just automatically cooler than everyone else. And you know exactly what you're doing, and you are a certified driver. And the problem I have with that type of mentality is, at this point, I've gotten in multiple people's cars, and I don't know if it's because they're trying to show off or just like that's just the way they drive all the time, but they drive like a fucking high schooler who just started driving. Jesus Christ, why are you? Oh my God. Like, a lot of these people don't even have an ounce of mechanical sympathy, and they consider themselves a great driver and talk about how they love the interactivity of the manual gearbox. And it's just like, dude, you might like the manual transmission, but I don't think the manual transmission likes you. You know, like, I let this guy drive my car for the first time ever. I don't know why I did that, but I was feeling nice that day, right? And that was the first time I've ever smelled my clutch in my life. The only other time I smelled a burnt clutch is the first time I learned how to drive a manual in my cousin's car. But you know what? That's fine. It's not your fault for being bad at it. You know, you can't blame someone for being stupid. And how would a stupid person know that they're stupid? Right? You know, that's why I have so much self-doubt, because it's like, if I'm stupid, I wouldn't know that I'm stupid. So I can't really say I'm smart, because stupid people think they're smart. And if I think I'm smart, that means I'm stupid. Okay, anyways. Sorry, I had a lot of caffeine today. Getting back to my point. I just have a problem when people make manual transmissions their entire personality. It doesn't make you a driver, if you really think about it. Like, race car drivers use paddle shifters. You're not gonna go up to a race car driver and say that, like, you're not a real driver for using paddle shifters on the track. You know what I mean? It's stupid. Why is this BMW next to me trying to not give me space? It's just 1111, dude. Fucking chill. Chill. That's fun. That's fun. You know what else is fun? Doing this. This is fun too. And that's the thing, right? It's like, as a manual driver, if you admit that you don't mind DCTs and you actually want a DCT car, it immediately just kind of levels you down as a driving enthusiast. And I don't get it. I just have a feeling that a lot of these die-hard manual fans are just pretending to be even bigger diehards, just out of the superiority complex that comes with being a manual fan. And I'm sure I'll get roasted for saying that, and these people will just be like, oh no, that just means you're not a real driver, you know? If you were really good at driving manual, like, you wouldn't mind driving it through stopping with traffic and fucking, in every single situation, a manual is better than an automatic. But it's just like, no, it's not. Especially if you're one of those people that don't understand mechanical sympathy. Don't get a manual transmission car. I just feel bad for that car at that point. And even for the people that understand mechanical sympathy, let's be really honest here. we are not smooth 50% of the time. Like, unless I'm really making an effort to be as smooth as possible, I feel my gear changes half the time. And there's times when I get in my car knowing that I'm not gonna be good at driving that day, right? Or just like the temperature's a little off and the car's not performing as consistently as it used to. And like, that's fun. That's really fun. That's really satisfying. I love it. But it's just the thing about the manual gearbox is you're not going to be smooth all the time. And as a person who's really conscious about all of that and really cares, it gets annoying. And you know, you just have those days where sometimes you're not even thinking about your left foot or your right foot or your hands, and you're shifting perfectly. But then the one little mistake just throws off your driving, and you start overthinking everything. Your left foot's not moving as smooth. This is what I love and hate about driving manual transmissions. It's the fact that your driving reflects back to you your psychological state of mind. Sometimes I don't want to know that I'm having an anxious day or an angry day or whatever, you know? Like, sometimes I don't want to think about it. I just want to get on the road, be moving as smoothly as possible, and not being reminded about how bad of a driver I am. I don't know if you noticed, but I drink a lot of water. I always have water with me. And it's just sometimes I'm stopped at a stoplight, and as I'm trying to uncap this, I have to put my left foot in, fucking move this, and then get rolling. And then I'm trying to drink again, but I have to shift gears, and it's just, I can never get my drink. In an automatic, I can shift, like, not shift, but I can steer with my left leg like this, right? And I can just be drinking my water. I can maybe go on my phone if I'm feeling illegal. No, I never go on my phone. I'm lying. But it's just when you're driving a manual transmission, you can't do that because your left foot that's supposed to be steering now has to go and press the clutch. And your right foot that's supposed to hold your water bottle has to go shift gears. And if you just let your pride down for a second and start being honest with yourself, you have to admit that it gets a little bit choresome here and there. You know, unless you're driving like a Carrera GT, I really don't think driving a manual is that hard. And so after a while, if you just get used to driving a manual all the time, it's something you don't have to think about. And then once you get beyond that, it's something that maybe sometimes you'd rather not do, just because, you know, it's like, I'm just going in a straight line. Why do I have to be going like that all the time? Every single time I go from a fucking stop, you know? I'm feeling aggressive today. I don't know why. Luckily, my car has a lot of torque, so I can be going through this at third gear. And if I really wanted to, if I wanted to be a lazy piece of shit, I can just be in... Oh, I was in fourth gear. Shit, okay. But still, it's just like, especially in conditions like this, sometimes I just don't want to be doing this every single time I accelerate. I uploaded this short from that video where I was just talking about how this isn't the fastest car in the world if you're driving like a normal person, right? And I was shifting at like 3,000 to 4,000 RPM to show what the real world speeds would be like. And a bunch of people shit on me for not knowing how to drive a fucking manual transmission. And they were like, you have to be in the power band, right? But you have to understand that, like, dude, if I'm here, I get 12 miles a gallon, bro. Like, these people worry about burning up your clutch, but you're not worrying about burning up fuel, bro? Like, I don't know where the fuck you guys live, but I live in California. And in California, premium gas is over $5 a gallon. If you're a car enthusiast and you don't have a manual transmission car, don't feel bad about it, okay? You do you. You drive whatever you drive. If you want to get in a manual at some point, go get in a manual, right? And if you're gonna get in a manual, get one without hill start assist and without automatic rev matching, just so you actually learn how to drive a fucking manual properly. Now I sound like a fucking purist. Oh my god, this cold air intake is actually life-changing. The engine, like, the car just has more pep to it. It sounds more aggressive, which I'm actually enjoying. And that's a GT4. Nice. You know, but at the same time, this is great. Like, this is a really good time. Oh, I did not see this. Oh, lordy lordy. I'm sorry I'm driving like an asshole today. I normally don't do this. I got some shit in my personal life that's been stressing me out. Whatever. But okay, jumping to a conclusion. I just want to say that being able to drive a manual transmission is a privilege. You know, it's not something to be used to glorify your personality. It's a privilege. If you have a bad knee, or you don't have a right hand, or some shit like that, you can't drive manuals. Like, I'm being a hypocrite talking shit about the transmission. I clearly like the transmission, but it's just, I just don't understand the superiority complex over it. It's not that deep. Anyone who's been driving a manual transmission for over 6 months to a year understand that it's really not that hard. I saw this comment about how this guy doesn't know how to heel toe rev match, and a lot of other drivers give him shit for not knowing how to heel toe. But it's just like, if I wasn't driving a BMW, I might not know how to heel toe, right? Like, the pedals are so close in this car that, like, I can literally heel toe like this. I don't have to do the whole fucking moving my foot over. Or like, some people just have like way too big feet, or maybe small feet. I don't know. Thank you guys for 579 subscribers. That's fucking crazy. We've been running this channel for less than a month, and we're almost halfway there to being monetized. And so, thank you so much. If you've watched more than 2 of my videos and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. You know, like, it doesn't hurt to subscribe. And yeah, a big reason why I made this video just talking about the manual transmission is because, one, you guys seem to really like my yapping, just talking about controversial things. And 2, I filmed this video a couple weeks ago just talking about 3 underrated tips to driving manual transmission smoothly. And I kind of wanted to set a good segue to that video. I don't know, it just felt like a good transition to go from like the yapping and then yap about manuals and then give tips on how to drive manual smoothly and stuff like that. So I freaking love this car, dude. I love it.